Thank you all for being here. Today, we're going to dive into the world of AP automation and specifically how AP automation drives efficiency in your organization. We only have 20 minutes today, but Michael and I will do our best to provide information and ideas and just provide a deeper understanding on the importance of AP automation. So, today we'll take a look at some of the common challenges that exist within an AP process, which makes it ripe for AP automation. We'll talk about some of the significant impacts and benefits and efficiency gains to be realized. We'll share our unique AP accelerator solution that Navient has developed. And then finally, we'll talk about your AP journey and provide you some resources and ideas for you to take the next step. Michael Coyne and I will be your presenters today. And without further ado, I'll hand it off to Michael to get us started.
Thank you, Trevor. And again, thank you everybody else for joining us today to do a little exploration into accounts payable automation. When we say AP automation at the most basic level, what we're really talking about is enabling people with the tools to take over the mundane, repetitive work within the accounts payable process. And by automating some of that time-consuming, mindless work, what we're doing is allowing people to focus on the valuable tasks that can't be handled by technology. Things like decision making, interacting with your vendors, and activities that are driving revenue for your business, right? So today we're going to focus on everything from that initial receipt of an invoice all the way to sending out the approved invoice for final payment. If you are leveraging automation in some fashion within accounts payable today, take this time to look for new best practices to introduce, and also keep in mind that the tools that we're going to be reviewing a little bit later can be extended even further out in the procure to pay process, further out in the finance department, and further out across your entire enterprise as well. So one thing that we know about accounts payable processes is that every organization has to have one. And not having a structured and an efficient AP process could create a lot of risks and can be detrimental to your overall business. So before we look at kind of the benefits of introducing automation to your accounts payable process, let's first look at the impact of a lack of automation. And the results we're looking at up here on the screen are from a market research firm that did a survey of about 200 finance individuals and accounting individuals from a variety of different industries. And when they were asked what they feel is the impact of a lack of automation in the accounts payable department, 47% responded that it's causing cost for their company, both with time and money. 41% of respondents indicated that a lack of automation is making them significantly less efficient than they would be should they have automation in place. 34% of respondents indicated that a lack of automation is making it difficult for them to get the data they need when they need it. And 27% indicated that a lack of automation is keeping them trapped in low value tasks that are preventing them from contributing to the overall company's strategic initiatives. I think it's also important to mention that as a separate question of the survey, only 9% of respondents indicated that they felt they had an adequate level of automation. And, the reason I'm bringing this up is to call out the fact that people in your accounting department want automation to be brought in to make their jobs easier and to make their jobs more enjoyable. And, the goal of AP automation is not to reduce headcount, but it's to get more done with the people that we have in place today. And it's about empowering them to, be more efficient in their day-to-day work. Some of the common challenges that we see causing frustration and inefficiency within the accounts payable department, one of them being manual routing of work. And, this could be whether it's pushing paper across desks or routing information via email. It's something that's tedious work and is slowing down overall processing time of an invoice. We also see what I would argue probably is the most common challenges when we start talking with organizations of the repetitive manual data entry taking place. Again, something that's taken up valuable time and something that could and probably should be used for more important work. And finally, the challenge of a lack of visibility. And this could be, lack of visibility into invoice status. Maybe a vendor calls and we can't tell them why they haven't been paid yet. This could be a lack of visibility into bottlenecks within the process. And this could be a lack of visibility into accrual data that's leading to a poor understanding of our financial status or any unpaid expenses. So if any of these challenges are resonating and sound like something that you're facing personally, it might be time to look at how can we improve your organization's accounts payable process through automation.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. And there are plenty of ways to improve because when we consider the various levels that automation that exists, the spectrum is very wide. All businesses are different, processes are unique, and there are many systems out there that contain various tools that can help. But in general, we find the vast majority of our customers falling within these three levels or stages, if you will, of automation, with the first stage containing no automation at all. This means using lots of paper. This requires manually indexing and manually approving invoices. And this is what we're trying to advance out of, right? So the second level includes several capabilities that really start to increase the levels of automation. Being electronic, first and foremost, getting rid of that paper naturally leads to a more streamlined process. Other tools at this stage include capture, OCR technologies to capture that important invoice data. Some other tools include leveraging automated workflows and automated verification. And just these tools and technologies alone can deliver tremendous amounts of value and really start to transform your AP process. And as we progress to higher levels of automation, this is where we typically see more advanced automation tools like intelligent data extraction and intelligent data processing for the extraction of that invoice line item detail, because that's the information that unlocks the ability to do the straight through processing, which takes our invoice handling to more of a invoice exception handling when we talk about approvals. Other things like self-service vendor portals can further streamline and automate the process as well. Then, as you can see by that orange dotted line, as we progress with increased levels of automation, the cost per transaction continually decreases. So now that we've covered the importance of the AP process and the spectrum of opportunities that exist to improve it, let's talk about the why, right? Why make this investment? Why take the time, energy, resources, and money to invest in AP automation? A decision like this, is meant to reduce costs, but there are many other intangible benefits to be realized as well, like time savings. One of the most significant benefits of AP automation is the time savings. The automating of the repetitive manual tasks just frees up staff time for more strategic, high value activities. Another big benefit is the increased accuracy. Again, automating those tasks reduces the likelihood of human errors from the manual data entry. Improved cash flow is a big one, right? Being able to pay invoices on time, avoid late payment fees, take advantage of early payment discounts. All these things help improve cash flow management. One common benefit that we hear from a lot of our customers is the enhanced visibility, being able to provide real-time status into where each invoice is, exactly where the invoice is in its payment cycle. It just allows you to better track the whole invoice approval workflow and the payment cycle as a whole. And finally, it helps improve the vendor relations, right? By paying your vendors more quickly and accurately and giving you the ability to identify maybe a particular issue that exists with a certain vendor or two and work with that vendor on a one-on-one basis to decrease the likelihood of payment disputes. And again, just overall simplifies the process. Now, again, no organization is going to make this type of investment just to realize some of these intangible benefits. We will be expecting an ROI in terms of hard dollars. And there are a number of ways that automating AP impacts the bottom line. One, if you recall back a few slides when I showed the levels of automation, that cost per transaction and increased levels of automation have an inverse relationship, right? So as the amount of automation increases, the cost per transaction decreases. Another area is being able to scale and grow your organization without needing to add headcount or even reducing headcount and repurposing employees for higher value work. This just enables those workers to spend their time on those high value tasks. When Michael was talking about some of the big pain points that exist within AP, this was a big one, right? The inefficiency and eliminating the mundane, repetitive work. And I'm sure many of you have heard the phrase, a robot could do this job. Well, maybe it's not technically a robot, but let's let technology perform the task that it's able to do. Eliminating errors and duplicate invoices, which is costly, taking advantage of early payment discounts and many other cost savings. So as you can see, just touched on a few, but there are many benefits, both tangible and intangible, to increase the efficiency of your AP process and accounting department as a whole. So now that we've talked about, some of the benefits, let's take a look at some of the platforms and tools that we recommend.
Yeah, great overview, Trevor. And just to reiterate, as you said, now that we've seen some of the common challenges and we've seen the benefits, I'm sure everybody's question is, well, how can we actually get to that future state? How can we see those results that Trevor just touched on? What tools do we use? And for Navient, the two tools that we use to address accounts payable automation are one, OnBase, which is a best-in-class enterprise content management platform, gives your organization the capabilities for ingestion and storage of invoices, an automated approval workflow process for approval of those invoices, and reporting dashboard capabilities. And the result of deploying OnBase within the accounts payable space is improved control over the accounts payable process as a whole, overall faster processing times, and as well as increased visibility as well. The other tool, then, maybe you already have something like OnBase for workflow routing and document storage, but you still have folks that are manually indexing invoice data into your system of payment. And that's where we see the Abby OCR Intelligent Capture Engine come into play. This tool gives you the capability for document classification, identifying that the image or the document that we're working with is indeed an invoice. And then based on that automatic classification, Abby's going to go ahead and automatically extract the information that we tell it to from that invoice without any human intervention at all. And then we'll have the capabilities as well of the validation of that data. And this is some human in the loop review, but more common than not, this is Abby integrating with your ERP to pull master data and cross-check against vendor name, address, purchase order information to be sure we are grabbing the right information and accurately capturing it off of an invoice. And the result of implementing Abby, again, is completely focused on let's eliminate the work of having an employee sit there for hours and manually key invoice information in, and let's hand that work off to technology instead. So Navient, has experience developing or deploying both of these tools individually, but more common than not in the accounts payable space, we actually see them deployed as a single solution that combines the capabilities of each. And for this reason, Navient's deployed what we call the AP Accelerator. The AP Accelerator is a pre-configured solution that Navient developed based on our experience with deploying OnBase and Abby both into the accounts payable space. And it's designed to address all of the common challenges within a typical accounts payable process. So to work through the kind of high-level process overview here from left to right, we see in that first box, instead of, when we receive an invoice, instead of manually wasting time ingesting the invoice, determining where it needs to go next, we're introducing a scan queue if it's a paper invoice, or an automatic email ingestion that kicks off the OnBase workflow and automatically will then send the invoice into Abby. And that's been step 2 here, where we're focused on indexing the invoice data. Again, Abby's all about, instead of manually keying invoice information by hand, Abby's going to automatically extract and index that information that you need to review the invoice. So going into step 3 then, now that we have the invoice in our system, it's indexed, OnBase is going to be able to automatically determine who needs to give their approval, and then it's going to create a notification for them to review. This means there's no manual routing of information, there's no lost invoices, whether that's on somebody's desk or within their email inbox. And since Abby was the first step in the workflow, approvers are being delivered this task with the indexed information that they need to make their decision, either to approve the invoice for payment or deny it and route it to another individual for exception handling. Once the invoice is approved, then the invoice data is automatically going to be posted into your ERP or your system of payment for the final payment of that invoice. Since this is an automated batch upload into step 4 in your ERP system, nobody needs to facilitate this handoff or key information into your ERP system, which overall is going to result in faster turnaround times for us. That integration with your ERP is actually also bi-directional. And what I mean by that is using a tool called Application Enabler within OnBase, you can actually retrieve and view the documents that are stored within the OnBase system directly from your ERP interface. And we see this help people that are maybe living and breathing in your ERP system on a day-to-day basis to more easily reference the actual invoice document or related documents such as a purchase order without having to log into multiple different systems. And then finally, throughout this entire process, OnBase's reporting dashboards are working in the background to develop reports that are going to help us understand status of in-process invoices, points of delay, accrual data, so that we're overall able to improve visibility throughout, and we're also able to continue to make enhancements throughout the AP process. We could probably spend an hour going into the nuances of the AP Accelerator, but overall the goal of this framework is to eliminate the manual work taking place and have it so that we're only spending time on the work that's requiring human intervention. So now that we've reviewed the process of the AP Accelerator and the structure, let's take a second to talk about the business value of the AP Accelerator versus building a solution from the ground up. And these are the common benefits that we see. They might vary based on the organization, but the first of them is the idea of an immediate impact. So again, the AP Accelerator is something that's pre-built, it's pre-tested, and it's pre-trained software, which means we have a pre-configured starting point that's getting us, 80% of the way there, if not more. From there, we usually take a iterative approach where we make any tweaks or improvements that are needed for your specific needs. This means that there's an accelerated time to deployment of the solution. We're not wasting any time on custom development. And there's also a lower cost, which means a faster return on your investment. There's also the value of continuous process improvement. And this does come into play with the AP Accelerator itself. When we think about things like Abby's machine learning capabilities, where we see an improved capture rate over time as it begins to adjust and understand the invoices coming through your organization. But what I really mean here is continuous process improvement at an enterprise level. And this is 110% a solution designed for AP, but what you're really introducing to your organization when you deploy the AP Accelerator are two enterprise platforms that can be leveraged across your organization. So by implementing the AP Accelerator, you now have the building blocks to where it's fairly simple to expand and fairly inexpensive to expand these capabilities to new users and new departments and new use cases across your business, whether that be in the finance department or maybe even outside of that. And then the final value, the idea of working with a strong partner. And Navient has experience implementing both of these tools, and we have experience working with organizations to design solutions that fit their unique business needs. For those of you that already work with Navient, we hope you understand and realize that Navient aims to be more than just a solution provider, but really a guide to drive change throughout your organization. And when it comes to accounts payable, what that means is we want to sit down and understand what your current state looks like today, and then identify, what is the next step, regardless of where you're at within your journey, to continue introducing automation and improving the way we're handling invoices.
No, thanks, Michael. And that's a perfect segue into talking about your unique journey. As we discussed, right, the spectrum of capabilities is very wide. Every organization is unique and has unique processes. And the reality is that we're all on our own individual journey. So when you consider your individual path, there are plenty of opportunities to improve that we've discussed today. And maybe you aren't using any automation today. We have future goals to introduce enhanced automation capabilities, or maybe you already own OnBase, but you yet to extend these capabilities into your accounting department. Or similarly, maybe you own Abby, but you're not using the intelligent data processing tools to extract and process the invoice information. I know some of you in the audience already have an AP automation solution, but are looking to expand your solution to other areas like accounts receivable, or PO requests, or vendor management, or maybe just even deeper integrations into other systems that you're using today. Regardless of where your organization is currently at, we have a lot of resources and tools and knowledge to help you reach your ultimate goals. Our website at navient.com has a lot of great information about accounts payable automation, our AP Accelerator, case studies, blog articles, webinar recordings, and more. So we would encourage you to visit our site as well as our YouTube page, which has a lot of great video content on it as well. And of course, Michael and I are here to help. Please do not hesitate to reach out to Michael and I. We will be more than happy to answer questions, show you a demo, talk through areas of opportunity for your organization, and help you on your journey.